Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Tom Stewart here. I am with Liz Trotter. This is Smart Business Moves. Our guest today is Mark Baker. Hello, Mark.
Hi, Tom. Hi, Liz. How are you?
Hey, Mark.
Well.
We're doing good.
Awesome.
It's great to see your beautiful faces.
Mark's going to be telling it like it is today. We've got some hard truths we're going to be laying out here today, and there's a list of them. I'm not sure where this is going to go, but buckle up because this is going to be a ride. Before we get too deep into that, though, let's talk about what we're going to be doing the rest of the week real quick.
This gives us some time to wait for, I know Leslie especially really wanted to get on here, so I want to make sure she's on. Oh, hey, Sarah. Sarah Mitchell saying, hey, Mark.
Oh, hey,
Do you remember how to see your comments, Mark?
Well, yeah, you know who the people are in the industry, and I know who Sarah is. We pay attention to those things. Hi, Sarah.
Yeah. Hey, Denise.
Again, another cool dude right there. Looking forward to getting some good questions coming from her.
So, real quick, for tomorrow, Don Finn's going to be here. He is our favorite former attorney. I don't know. I guess once you're an attorney, you're always an attorney, maybe, but he doesn't really practice law anymore. But he helps cleaning business owners and other businesses understand how to build cultures and legal workforce in a way to not get sued, I guess is a short story. And it goes far beyond that. He's a wealth of information. He's a professional speaker. I mean, he travels the country and gets paid a lot of money to do what he does, just basically speaking to groups. And we're very fortunate to have him on Smart Business Moves again. Do yourself a favor and block out tomorrow at 5 o'clock Eastern. Come hear Don. He's going to be talking about HR stuff, and that's particularly interesting because he doesn't always do that. But I promise you, you're going to walk away having a lot of useful information, stuff that you didn't know but needed to know to keep yourself out of trouble and to also just build the right culture and run a successful business. Which brings us to Thursday, Liz. What we got going on Thursday?
All right, so we are doing On the Spot, you guys. Tom and I talked about it, and y'all really brought it last week. You had questions for days, and we were not bored. So bottom line is we were having fun, and so we're going to do it again. This week's guest is, oh gosh, I feel like there's so many good clues for him. I just love this guy so much.
He's a guy. Okay, well, that's a hint.
He's a guy. Oh, okay. I don't know how to word this one. When you think of castle keepers, you might think, if you were to see castle keepers right now, you might mistake it for this person.
I don't know, Liz.
That's not quite right. How about if you
it's a man and it's castle keepers.
If you were to see initials written out, you might see. I'm making this so easy now. You might mistake him for a link to castle keepers. So terrible, y'all. It could have been so much better, but I want you to guess him anyway because I want you to have good questions for him.
Well,
all right.
Okay. Well, we'll moving right along.
Tom's like, well, take that one, Liz. Good job.
We helped you there, Liz. We were going to let you go with that one.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Mark, thank you for coming back. You were with us a couple weeks ago, and you were one of those guests where the hour goes by way too fast, and you really just are scratching the surface. So we'll just kind of pick up on some of that. What's going on in your world?
Well, first, I had a ball. What a time! You guys are awesome. Like, I had the time of my life. You know what?
You need to get out more, Mark.
Yeah, really.
No way. Yeah. Listen, you know something? I love this industry. You know, Royce Ard was on the day after me. He was amazing, by the way. He's top notch. Awesome. You got to keep him coming and sharing. Hey, Marlo. And the thing is that, you know, he talked about seeing it through your own lens. Right? He talked about Tom coming from retail, corporate America, I think it was. He was a VP of a cable company, large cable company, I think even services Tom's area. And of course, you came from cleaning as well, I believe, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, and me too, right? So like, for me, I love this industry. I love business, but I in particular love this industry. So getting out with you guys last week and talking, I mean, I love it. It was awesome, and I could not wait to get back. So it was really good to see you.
So what did Marlo tell you, Mark?
Marlo?
Says, I told you, Mark. Yeah.
I don't remember, man. I don't remember. I tell you, it's been a hell of a day. Actually, it's been a great day. As a matter of fact, I paid off $40K in a bit of short-term debt for the company today. That was nice, especially coming out of the pandemic shutdown. We're shut down for 5.5 months, zero income, and we opened back up at 90%. We're still at 50%, but it was nice to get that cash flow rolling back in and to take care of a bit of short-term debt that had piled up during the pandemic, right? So I went out today and took care of that, and that felt amazing. We spent
a lot of time on Smart Business when we was talking about SBA loans and various things going on. Did Canada have any type of assistance for small businesses?
Yeah, of course, right? So like it's quite honest with you, it was easier up here, right? So like we talk about this all the time, is that America is 50 separate little countries in some ways, right? Because as much as it's America and it's one kind of melting pot, we're more of a mosaic, they say, right? Like Toronto, for example, is the most multicultural city in all Earth, right? In the world. And it's the fourth largest city in North America. So but for America, you guys hold on to the kind of ways of each state very, very hard. And that makes it really tough trying to roll out help during a pandemic. It wasn't easy for your federal, state, municipal governments to roll out help for people. It was very hard to coordinate. Like that, I wouldn't have wanted that job.
They did it so fast, though. Come on, y'all. I mean, anybody that says it took forever. I mean, I was freaked out by how fast.
Not as fast as us. Really? The fact that, see, with us, it's 10 provinces and some territories, right? And we're way more alike than we are apart. We see ourselves more as Canadians and individual provinces outside of Quebec, which has a unique identity in our, our Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Yeah. But the government just put in, billions of dollars. I mean, for example, I can go to the internet right now, put in my payroll number for last year, click a button, and 3 days later, I'll have $60,000 from the government in my account. 5 years, no interest, no payments.
That's faster.
Yeah, like that. Like, for example, self-employment for EI. So I'm self-employed, so I don't get EI, right? I can't get EI in Canada, or employment insurance, I don't know what you call it there, unless there's certain reasons, like special circumstances, like you're caring for someone who's on their deathbed, or whatever. Mm-hmm. But they changed the law immediately, and the different parties in Canada, they didn't argue about it, because culturally we're all like, yeah, we need to help people, let's vote together. So that kind of infighting within the two parties is three here, like main parties, versus you got two, that kind of wasn't there. So no, it's great, right? I must say. So what they do is you have $60,000 in loans, small businesses, and then, like, for example, what if you're a sole proprietor? What if you don't even have a business bank account? You run it through your personal account. What if you don't have payroll? You pay yourself with dividends at the end of the year, or just take draws all year and then decide how you're going to declare it. They put things in place for those people too. It's been they've been very, very helpful. Now, from a personal point of view, the minute that the company got shut down, I literally went online and clicked the button, and 2 days later, there was $2,000 in my account. And every month, every 2 weeks, there's $2,000 in my account for 6 months. Now, that's welfare money when you really look at it, but the fact is, hey, I knew when this shut down, we had to make some adjustments. Now, when you have certain, like, for example, most of the creditors for the business, they were understanding at, Made Central, Tom. Obviously, you're going to have some of your customers are going to come and say, hey, I can't pay this month. I'm going through this downturn, and Made Central is going to work with those people to the best of their ability. But ultimately, you got to start collecting your revenue as well, and that's a fine line, right? So, after a while, the creditors are like, well, we need the money too. So today I was able to say, take that short-term debt that built up about $40,000 over the last 5 months, and that felt amazing. Outside of that, nice. I've been working with a special consultant out of Chicago. There's a company that's got 4 American offices, Chicago, Los Angeles, one in Toronto, one in Abu Dhabi. And they do a special kind of consulting, and they're helping me get something done that I'm trying to get done for January 1. It hasn't been done in the cleaning industry yet. So that blue ocean you spoke of, man, I was listening to you talk about that with Royce, and it's like, oh God, I want to tell her so bad, but I can't. You'll know soon enough.
Mark, would you say it would be an unprecedented event?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I'm not saying it hasn't been done in other industries, but it's never been done in ours, right? Because it's a major cultural shift,
Right.
and it's never been done this way. And it boils down to seeing things through your lens, which kind of segues into, one of the things I wanted to talk about was I wanted to talk about supply and demand. And like you have some pretty amazing guests on here. And I truly respect everybody I see on here.
We really do have so many people on here.
Oh my God! Like Heather from down in Florida, I loved her. She was in her closet, right? She's in her closet. She's moving, and she loved this industry so much, and she loves sharing, and she's so proud of what she's done. That like she's like, okay, family, sorry, I know we're moving, and I had to stay in the closet, but I'm going on the show. I mean, listen, I have the show playing while I'm giving my toddler a bath in the tub, and I have the show up on the sink, and I'm listening to you guys. I mean, it's awesome, right? So I love it. But one of the things that we see a lot of is we see people, okay, so turnover is the big issue, right? Let's just all be honest, okay? Obviously, if you're forced to have people go out in the houses and clean that don't have an aptitude for that, aren't ready for that, aren't the right choice, but you kind of need to. You got this client base you built, you turned over people, you got to kind of put people out there that you don't want to necessarily, that's where quality falls. That's where you guys call it call-outs. We call it call-ins, calling in sick. People don't show up to work. Like all the problems essentially stem, for the most part, from just not having the people to do the work, right? That constant issue. And I listen to a lot of people. And like my friend, I have a very dear friend down south, and he's like, if they, I tell them, hey, you got a job for life. You got a job for life. As long as you show up to work and you do a good job, you got a job for life. You're never going to get fired, right? And he's talking like this. And I'm thinking to myself, man, like, I love this dude, but it's like, listen, you think that cleaning toilets at $10 or $12 an hour, $6 or $7 below the poverty line is a job for life for them? And one of the things that nah, that's why there's turnover. Face the truth. That's why there's turnover. If it was,
but I can tell you, I got people that want to do this. I mean, how long has Ruthie been doing this job, Tom?
Do you have a coffee shop that you love? Do you have a coffee shop that you love? Like we have Tim Hortons up here. You guys got Starbucks down there?
We have Starbucks, yeah.
Okay. Do you have like a spot you drive through, whether it's a Burger King, a Starbucks, a McDonald's, and you kind of know the staff? Like, hey, that's the lady who gives me coffee, right? And he's like, hey, she's been here for 6 years. I know her for years, right?
Oh yeah, totally.
So you get the impression that, hey, well, you know what? Like, they kept their staff, right? When you look at the big picture and you put it on the map, guess what? Or you put it on a graph, they go through 300% and 400% turnover. Yeah, there's 3 people.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Right? And what I'm getting at is that our industry is very, very similar. And yes, we can all cite certain people that, yes, but I'm talking overall.
I'll give you that, Mark. I totally give you that.
There's a lot of turnover, but that doesn't necessarily mean that some people don't choose to make this a career, and it's a choice, not something that was like forced upon them or a consolation prize. I truly know some awesome people who, I mean, we've had some of them on our show. That the solo cleaner model and people that are like clean homes by themselves making good coin.
I agree.
And that's their gig. That's what they want to do for life. So you're going to be careful. Hold on. Stop walking. You're going to have to be careful when you talk with me, because if you speak in absolutes, I'm going to argue with you every single time.
I'm not talking absolutes. I apologize if it came across that way. They're outliers, right? But they exist, but they're outliers. But I'm talking about the general
I'll give you that.
The companies that are working hard to scale and struggle with getting people, right? And
that is one of the main problems and sticking points.
Yeah, it's one of the things we talk about the most, and we share. Like Heather shared a lot of amazing things about a week and a half ago about her hiring and onboarding, and I mean, she's just put a lot into that, and it shows, right? And she's had good success, right? And I find there's a lot of that. There's a lot of human resource practices that are probably more common in other industries that are crossing over to our industry, and it's like the maturing of our industry in so many ways, even though our industry is very old. And it's
some examples. What do you see happening in that regard?
Well, let's talk about, because let's talk about, like, for example, that I can't remember the stat now, but like 66 or 67% of people that were part of a national survey by a credible survey company said that if they had a good onboarding, or they had a bad onboarding, the people that had a good onboarding were 60% of them were more likely to stay there for 3 years versus people that had a bad onboarding.
Technology, more cleaning businesses are using applicant tracking systems and automated onboarding and some of the tools that I guess in past wasn't available to small companies, but now it's becoming
thanks
more.
To people like you, thanks to people like you who develop SaaS software. I mean, you've taken stuff that only major companies could afford, and you've put it in, like Roy says, anyone that $200 can do this. But it goes beyond that, right? It goes beyond. It's a cultural shift. There's a cultural recognition going on in the industry right now that we really, really need the cleaning pros. And what the point I'm trying to get at here is that supply and demand rules everything, right? So you're a capitalist. America's a very capitalist society, like the most capitalist society on earth, right?
Today, talk to us tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll see. I think we're figuring that out as we speak.
There's a joke in Canada. America's having an IQ test tonight. Let's see how it turns out. But I know I'm just kidding. You're just a kid. You listen.
Good thing we can laugh at ourselves.
I know it's good, right? But no, but really, jokes aside, and we're kind of in between. We're not as socialist as say as over in the UK. We're not as capitalist as you. We're kind of in the middle, and that's the way we kind of position ourselves. But supply and demand rules everything, right? And one of the things that sometimes we feel, and I'm speaking for myself, right? Everyone's different, is that the cleaning pros, work for us. Okay, they work for us. I'm giving them a job. I'm working for, and I hear that word a lot. And one of the big things that strike me sometimes when I go abroad is, I got 100 people working for me and four, and it's like, oh, I just cringe, right? And it's like, listen, if I had access to 10,000 cleaning pros, I'd be worth 500 million because I get to work. Getting to work is easy. Getting to work is not the hard part. It's having the good quality people that can perform that work, right? And take care of all the issues. And that shift in culture is really, really important. And as the technology, like Tom said, is coming in, right? What's also happened is that our attitudes and cultures towards the people who do the hard work on the front lines is changing. And the thing is that, so for us, for example, the lens we look through, it's cleaner centric. Like, for example, like I literally believe that I work for the cleaning pros in our network. Like that's my job, to work for them. Don't get me wrong. I'm not talking about we're all holding hands and singing Kumbaya. Like, we have standards, and trust me, my standards are up here. They call me Chef Ramsay, not Mark Baker. So, and you better meet my standards. You're not worried about the customer standards. They're here.
Don't cuss at me on this show, though, Mark. Okay.
On this show, Angela Brown has got me. She stopped me from cursing. She actually took my post down last week because I said the word hell. And she took it down.
Really?
What did I do? Right?
He just did it again.
I know.
What the heck, Mark?
This is Angela's show. I said, Angela, what did I do? Right? Because Angela, like, she's strict on that, right? And she's like, well, she showed me, right? And I said, oh, Angela, I'm so sorry. Yeah, she's like, no, you want to be in my group, buddy? None of that. So, like, I'm almost cured. I barely curse. but anyway, no, the point is that I'm not saying we don't have standards. We have standards and they're not negotiable. But outside of that, the fact of the matter is that, look, here's the thing. See, if I do a great job of serving all the cleaning professionals in our network across Canada, I do a great job of serving all the people, I do a great job of doing all the things I need to do. When my wife calls me on the way home tonight and says, Mark, can you pick up some milk for the baby? I got money in my bank account and I can get milk for baby Scarlett. Okay. So that's not like, that's because they go out every single day and put their face and eyes in the toilets, down on their hands and knees. And we both know how hard that is. We've done it.
I have to tell you something, Mark. So with my coaching program with the MMA groups, one of the things that we talk about is that I can get people to clean toilets every day for 5 years and thank me for it every single day. 100%. That's something that is a real win. Because if you and it's something that the chamber quotes me on all the time here locally, that if you need some help with your people, Liz can get people to clean toilets every day for 5 years.
I would do anything. Look at that smile.
And smile, right?
Right.
So I get what you're saying, right? That we need people.
So let's move more high level. let's take the conversation more high level. So that's generality. Okay. So we're talking about, okay, so hey, I get to buy milk tonight on the way home if my missus asks me for something. Yeah. That's wonderful. And I do that because there's people out there right now facing eyes in the toys, and I get to keep a little bit of that money if I deliver on my end.
Yeah.
Now, but let's talk about the higher level stuff. For example, supply and demand. So, for example, what are there other choices in the industry? You know, so for example, we pay 80%. We pay 80% of what we bill to our people. Now, that business model is extremely hard to do. I mean, we sat down as a team. We came back from Vegas last November. You know, we had an escalating scale. You can make from 40% to 55% depending on your clean quality scores. Okay, and we sat down here, and you know, we went down. We talked to all of our good friends from the United States mostly, but from abroad too, at the round table in Vegas last year. And man, it was all the same conversation. I mean, like Heather's doing great things, and we're doing great things in this area, and we all are doing some things really great. And when we talked about it, it was like we didn't see a solution. We didn't see a solution to beating turnover. You know, and I mean a real solution, like a permanent solution. And we sat down, and we all were cleaners. I mean, every one of us cleaned. One guy was our full-time IT guy. He used to come in here and program at night. You know, we hired him as an IT guy, and we were all sitting there and said, "What needs to change?" And he said, "Man, like I can't live on $17 an hour. I just can't." And I said, "Well, geez, the customers are willing to pay from 30 to 40, depending on the geographical area. How do we pay you more?" Right? Well, then we had to stop and say, "Well, what are our costs?" Okay, so we cut our costs back. You know, well, what are we sacrificing? You know, and we had to make some hard truths and hard decisions about some choices we had to make. And
so
software.
Give us an example, Mark. Give us an example. Like, what are some of the things you cut?
So we had a manager here in this location. We had a manager, okay? You know, she was 50 plus 60,000 a year, benefits, all those things, health insurance, all the things, right? We had an assistant manager, you know, there was an IT person, right? There was a field manager. There was a lot of salaries, right?
Okay. So you cut people. Is that the main thing you cut was people?
Part of it, but not all of it. But I mean, okay, so for example, one of the things we did was that we got our SaaS provider, we got rid of our SaaS provider, our platform. That was a big part of it. And we just went to another platform, and they didn't
cut out. You cut out, Mark.
Well, we got rid of our provider, like our CRM, right? Still with me?
Oh, yeah. You keep cutting out for some reason on my end.
I just Tommy's blocking me.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. You're clipping, but go on. You're good.
But yeah, so you know, so what we had, look, here's what it boils down to. How can we cut down the human resources costs without sacrificing actually increasing customer support? So one of the big parts of it was, for example, we installed a software called Freshdesk. We went to Zendesk at first, right? Omnichannel support. Zendesk was a bait and switch for us. I don't mind saying it, I'll say it to them. You know, it was like, hey, you know, we're going to implement you. It's going to be great. And if you give us $10,000, we'll actually show you how to use our software. So we ditched them, and we found a company called Freshdesk out of India, a real cool success story. You got to look them up. And so we were able to say through the ticketing system, say that, like similar to what Royce uses, right? Which I introduced him to that system, and he made it better because that's what Royce does. He makes everything better, right? And the glitter
like that.
Oh man, there's no other like it. There's no other like it, right? He says, "I'm not an entrepreneur, but I'll take your idea and I'll make it better," right? But you know, that was a big thing for us. So you know, so we can have a support agent anywhere on earth who can just open a laptop, and 100% is just as if that person was right in front of us.
Yeah, nice.
I mean, that's huge because we're paying $400 USD a month for a college-educated, English-speaking expert support agent in another country.
Yeah.
So now I'll be honest with you. Ethically, I had to stop and say, well, hang on a second, Mark. You know, like, am I taking jobs from Canadians here? You know, am I doing the wrong thing? But what it done is that yes, we reduced the amount of humans needed as staff in order to run this company successfully. Yeah. But what it did was it freed up 20% more of capital that we can then reinvest into the people on the front lines who are doing their hard work, who we all know, because listen, oftentimes it's not that we don't want to pay more. We can't, right? And you know, so we know how hard it is, right? So that was a big step, right? So
I still don't quite get it though. So keep walking me through it, because I'm still not there. I'm like, you pay them 80%, that leaves you 20%.
What took $250,000 worth of salaries to do, we can do on probably $40,000 worth of salaries now.
Okay.
Simple.
But you still have to have a profit margin. I mean,
well, of course you have a profit margin, but if your expenses are reduced that significantly, then you only need a smaller profit margin. You don't need 40%.
Yeah. Oh, of course. I'm trying to figure out how you can pay 80, you keep 19%. That's 99%. Only 1% in expenses, or 2%. I mean, most of the people that I'm working with right now are their objective is somewhere around 18% profit margin.
We'll probably have 12% before interest and taxes, so 12% is where we'll land, which we're comfortable with.
Well, when you're bigger too, you don't need.
I wouldn't say we're social.
So you're saying your overhead, your indirect labor, and just total overhead is like less than 10% of your revenue.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Closer to 8%, Tom. No more than 8%.
That's obviously smaller than what you see, and
anywhere.
I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot of financial statements from companies in this industry, and
you guys go through acquisition, right? So you see our financial statements, right?
So that's why we're like, how are you doing this? I mean, even if you get you got to have an office and you got power.
So that's the great thing, is that an office costs under $1,000 a month. I mean, an office is nothing because your people don't need an office
because they don't come here.
You don't need
because they don't come there. Do you buy supplies, Mark? Do they handle all their own supplies?
Oh, 100%.
Or do you do like?
We used to do that. We used to make it ourselves. We used to make a bottle of multi-purpose based off of, say, for example, hydrogen peroxide. I mean, it costs us 11 cents to make it. The bottle cost. We used to sell that. We'd sell that to the professional house cleaners for $1 a bottle. It was wonderful, cheaper than Walmart, right? We were making 90 cents off it. But
so is it a hybrid, Mark? It sounds a little bit like a hybrid between an independent contractor and an employee.
No, not at all. 100% independent contractor. We don't go near that line with a 100-foot pole at all.
Okay. The rules are different. The rules are a little bit different in Canada.
Oh, that's right.
So it would look hybrid if it was in the U.S., but he's able to do more with his workforce without crossing the line.
What would you say the cost of turnover is? Now Tom would probably tell you an actual percentage number, probably, right? But the cost of turnover. So let's talk about the cost of acquisition. What it costs to attract, hire, train, retain, turnover, do it again.
Hey, what's our number, Tom? We spent a lot of time putting this
it's very debatable though, but when you start thinking about the training and the opportunity cost that you lose in terms of revenue, it's in the thousands. You can
percentage wise. So if anyone on earth can do this, you could. You literally, if you said, okay, I'm going to get a special number in 3 months, you could say, hey, I can tell you that if you're doing this revenue in this area, this geographical area, your cost of turnover is costing your company 6% of your revenue. Like you could actually come up with a number, Tom. Like that's
he could. I could not do that. But Tom could.
I wouldn't rather kill myself and do that. But Tom would do it and enjoy it and give us a number, right? Because he's a numbers guy. He's a KPI man, right? That's Tom's gig, right?
Hey, Amy. First, we got to interrupt. Say hi to Amy. Hi, Amy. Amy. We were talking about you earlier.
She's awesome, by the way.
She's awesome.
She is so cool. So let me get to my point, though, guys. So you're sidetracking me.
Okay, sorry.
So the point is that let's talk about the turnover. So we used to do traditional interviews, right? It started off in my living room, then it went to Starbucks, then it went to this 8x8 office on top of the waffle, right? Then it went to a regular office and a bigger office, and now it's this office, and then we got ghosted. Yeah, so we're all ghosted, but we don't even do that. We don't do interviews. We dropped interviews. I mean, our turnover rate is a single percentage right now, and we don't interview. So let's talk about if those people that are going to do the work are the people we need. How about we create a situation that works for them? So, for example, we used to work. So we were open from 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, and that's when we done our work. And then we told customers we don't work on weekends, we don't work in the evenings. Now we had managers who used to start at 6 a.m. and they never stopped till 10 at night. I had them in 5 days a week doing that. We made sure everything was in order for that day. But the thing is that then we realized now we're open 365 days a year. right? Our support, once it ramps back up now in about 2 weeks, we have everyone back on from being shut down. I mean, we have support agents available. You're going to be able to call our number 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, and you're going to get a human being, right? So the thing is that, but our cleaning pros tell us when you want to work. They go online, they click a button. If they want to, like, because if I tell Mary or Bob, that, hey, you had to be here at 9 o'clock. Well, if I got to be here at 9 o'clock to dispatch, and then I've got to go and I've got to like drop Bobby at school at 8:35, and the school won't take him before that, and I can't get before care, and they're rushing around like a blue arse fly, and the whole
like
thing,
a what?
Oh, it's a Newfoundland term. It's called blue arse fly. That's I'm a Newfie. We talk different than the rest of Canada. So the thing is that like you lose that whole market, right?
Yeah.
So all of those people can no longer. Now you have someone else, and maybe their little girl is on the spectrum, and maybe she has some autism challenges that they're working through, and mom or dad really need to be there with that little girl on Tuesdays from 2 to 4 with that teacher. Mm-hmm. Help that child be the best that they're capable of being, right?
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the company's saying that, hey, you got to work Wednesdays 9 to 5. So the thing is that I'm not saying you go willy-nilly and it's like every second day something's changing their schedule. Well, of course not. The logistics of scheduling is the hardest part of this whole business, right? I mean, Tom's built the platform on it, right?
Yeah, I'm like, not anymore. Not Main Central.
Yeah, exactly, right? And there's a couple other ones that are there making a name for themselves, like Booking Koala right now. They're doing some amazing things. And Tom, we can talk privately, and I'll share with you a lot of the stuff they're doing because you're going to love it. It's amazing what they're doing on the back end, right? And the last 30 updates they made, I gave them.
But Mark, I just have to ask you, is there anything as cool as the new thing that came out in Main Central, I think it was yesterday, where you press a button and all of your customers get price increases?
Oh, no, that's pretty cool, Tom. Yeah, good done. Yeah, well done.
I know. So, okay. Like, I'll listen to you, but I don't know. There's some good stuff.
I'm a big fan. I think it's great. And Amy's a big fan, too, who's on now. Yeah. We talked the other day. But so the thing is that, so we just stopped doing it. It didn't work. Like, we stopped doing, we done group interviews.
I love that. I love that, Mark, that you're willing to pivot in bigger ways than most people. Like, they can't even conjure up the idea that that's a thing.
Interviews don't work. Why do it? They don't work. You get ghosted.
But 99.9 people out of 100 are going to say, it doesn't matter if they don't work. I still have to do them.
No, you don't.
I know, but
listen,
99% of people are going to say too.
We're in the business of offering career opportunities to humans. We do not care if you are a man or a woman or a transvestite, or if you're fat like me or you're lean like someone else. We don't care if you come from Botswana, or you come from Guyana, or wherever, or you come from Newfoundland. We don't care. We don't care. What we care about is we don't care if you have tattoos on your knuckles. We care if you are not a criminal, right?
Yeah.
We care if you have an aptitude for the business. We care if you're highly interested.
How do you measure that? What does that mean? What's an aptitude for the business mean?
Well, an aptitude means is that you are more likely to do well in this industry, right? So Angela Brown has got a great course you got to check out on it. So what she has a course within her Sabi Cleaning Network, and she puts it out there. And we've taken that and put it into Quizzetry. You've ever been on Facebook and you're on Facebook, it's like, hey, find out which celebrity you're most like.
Oh,
you know, the questions? Well, that's Quizzetry in the background. We run that through Quizzetry. And what happens is that, you can answer a series of questions, and while you're asking these questions, you're also telling a little bit about what the industry is like. I mean, you saw Royce Ard's application procedure on My Amazing Maid, right? Kind of similar. He asks you certain questions and you're weeding yourself out, right?
Right.
Now, I'm not saying doing that, but
you have the idea and he made that better?
No, that's his idea. That's nothing to do with me.
He made his own idea better that time.
For somebody else who made it better.
No, Royce is special, man. He's a
great guy. Yeah. Great.
But the thing is that, so when you have aptitude, it means you're more likely to succeed in the industry. But what we have is we have biases. Look, I'm a Canadian, right? Yeah. Like, hey, I don't care if you're gay and you get married. Don't care. I don't care about any of those things. I don't care about the color of your skin. I don't care where you come from. Like, just, hey, you're a human being, right? We're all about
let's boil it down, though, to some stuff that actually might be useful, some takeaways that we can all apply to our business. If I'm trying to figure out if a candidate has aptitude for the business, can you share what type of things would we be looking for?
Sure, we can definitely do that. But to finish what I was saying, Tom, so my point is that, so what happens is that we have biases. And when we're interviewing, we have biases. True. Now, look, I went to business school, okay? I took the human resources course. I know about the halo effect. I know about the similar me effect. I know about all different things we need to know about being high-level hiring. But unfortunately, the biases are there, right? Because we're human. We don't mean to, but our biases are there. And if you statistically look at all the hires you've made through your own interviews and look at your successes, you probably find out that you're probably not that successful at it. You're not that good at it.
Okay.
Statistically, right?
So how do we get that?
So by removing that process,
removing the chance for bias, is that what you're saying?
Resources, because you don't have to interview no more, right? Because you're onboarding them online, and that helps with that bottom line. Okay. And the funny thing is that they can weed themselves out. So by making people jump through certain hoops, whoever lands at the end. So, for example, our last ad, we have 5,000 people apply, right? We ended up with 50.
Right.
In the end, out of 5,000, right? But they weed themselves out, and that saves you money because of the human resources involved in interviewing. But we know they're not criminals. We have all the T's crossed and the I's dotted. They've taken some online training, make sure they have an aptitude. They've taken different tests and skills, and they've invested in themselves. They've jumped through hoops. They've shown that they're eager and they want to.
The online training, something that you provide them that they have to take while they're still like a candidate, or
yeah. I'll run you through it real quick if you want.
Okay.
So they whatever platform we market in, they come to us.
Let's get back. Let's if you would please, let's get back specifically to the aptitude though, because I'm really I mean that's a meaty idea.
It is a meaty idea.
What things would we be looking for in a candidate to make some judgment, not subjective, not with bias, but some objective way of measuring aptitude?
Well, look, the answer to that is who knows? Who knows? Here's what I know. I know that if someone wants to have a career, we very transparently let them know what it's going to look like before they start. So there's no sales involved. Now, I was top 3% on earth for Coldwell Banker and real estate sales in a small town. Okay. I can sell. That's a proven fact. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, so here's the thing. I found at the beginning, I used to sell people on this job. I'd sell them on this career. And man, I got someone walk in for an interview, and by the time they're done, they were excited about starting this career just to fail.
So you had the opposite problem of most people. You were overselling and most people undersell.
Sure, right? But the point is you don't have to sell at all. There's no selling involved. The fact of the matter is that just because see, the new generation of people, like they it's a knowledge-based world now, and they're going to find out anyway. So why have someone find out later exactly what this is going to look like? Why not show them exactly what this role is going to look like in real life? And if that turns them away and they don't want to work with you, then maybe you need to make some adjustments to what this looks like. So then they are attracted.
Give me the, tell it like it is, Mark, because that's the same thing that we're all doing. We're all, showing them the PowerPoint that shows them all how hard the job is. Here's the filthiest toilet you've ever seen. You got to put your hand in there with a pumice stone. So we're all doing that. So, but how are we doing that without an interview? Because that's the tricky part, right? Everybody else is doing that as part of the interview process.
Okay, so when you're using a platform like Indeed, obviously they abhor multi-level marketing. I mean, you could be with Freedom 55, you can be with some really credible investors group, and they won't let you market on Indeed, right? Like, so they won't allow you. So obviously, when marketing on Indeed, you had to be very careful in how much information you put out on Indeed, because Indeed will shut you down, right? And Heather talked about that, right? Yeah. So the thing is that keep it simple on Indeed. We don't ask for a resume. We don't ask for nothing. We talk about the highlights of the job. We keep it simple, and thousands of people apply. We used to get this big old long laundry list of all the.
Get us past that. We all do that. Get us past that. At that part,
I'm trying to. You allow me to. So with that said, so what happens is that that's the key right there. That first one, keep it simple, get lots of applications. Now, drive them to your website. You go to your website. Now you're going to give them a lot more information. Okay. So to go to your website, you implore them to read more and more and more about who you are and what you're about.
Okay.
They make
work
your
a little bit.
application. They work, yeah, exactly. It's 2 hoops. So first you had to apply online. That was easy. Click and apply. Second, you had to go to your website. Okay, now they had to consume the content on your website. Then they had to apply, which is going to drive them into your HRIS platform, right? Whether you're using Bamboo HR or Collage out of Montreal and Canada or whatever you use. Okay, they get inside there. Guess what? It's like Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner back when we were kids with the cartoon, and Wile E. Coyote got a big sign up saying, this way, right? Well, read this material, watch these videos, consume this content. You're constantly saying, read this material. You want them to know about the job, right?
Okay, yeah.
So read the material, now they apply. Okay, so they've applied. They're inside your platform.
So wait, hold on. They apply after they read that stuff? So they have to read through it to get to the place where they apply? Or do they apply?
They read about what you're about on Indeed in basic form and big numbers. 2, you go to your website, you try to implore them to read the material on your website before they apply. They may or may not.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, it's all in place.
So next you put in an application on your website, okay? And when you get inside that application to fill out the details, before you fill out the details and put the final button to put in their details, there's more information for them to consume. These are all hoops they're jumping through, right? Guess what? Right. People who think that you need to venture your business, you already lost half of them. That's wonderful.
Right, they're done.
Good. I didn't have to do an interview to lose you. I've lost you already. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay. So now they apply. So you have a series of questions, right? 1, are you a criminal? Do you have a criminal background? Are you currently under charges? Right? Do you have any health issues that can prevent you from stooping, bending, kneeling, blah, 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 all the things, okay? Yeah. All right. So I want to see no. That's all I want to see. I don't care about the details. I don't care about your address. I don't care about nothing. Just no. Good. Not a criminal. All right. You're not a criminal. That means you're a human who's not a criminal. Good stars.
So far, so good.
Yeah, we're good, right? Because hey, we need people. We can't be too picky, but we got to be picky. It's a weird dynamic, right? Yeah. So then it's like, okay, well, next, are you legal age of majority? Because with you guys, I don't know if it's 21 everywhere, but here there's like 19 and 18, depending on your province. There's a 64 split.
We can have them young.
Yeah, well, here, see, you can sign a contract if you're a minor, but it's not legally enforceable in court. Okay, so what that means is that so we can sign on a 17 or 18-year-old, but if something goes wrong, we try to take them to court over that or vice versa. It just doesn't make sense to work with minors when it comes to.
Absolutely. It's another thing to weed them out. It's not a good fit.
Especially a 15-page contract that they're signing, right? So to the contractors. Okay, so now we know the legal age of majority. We asked a few more questions. So now we have, 2,500 applications came in, stage 2 applications website, right? Okay, so it's like, no, yes. Click a button, make them an offer. Click a button, make them make everyone an offer. If you're not a criminal, you're getting an offer. Okay? So to get an offer, okay, so that offers you 2,500 offers out. Perfect, right? So now we're like, okay, well, the offer says, hey, we want to make you an offer. But first, I want you to watch this video. We hit them up with like a 30-second video. We're like, hey, we'd like to make you an offer. You're awesome. We want you on our team. But before you do that, we want you to watch these 4 videos here so you really understand who we are and what we're about, because we want to make sure you're successful, right? Yeah. Because again, we want to make sure they're coming in eyes open, because this is the aptitude. We want them to know, right? Yeah. So we're not overselling them, but we're impressing them. We're responsive. If you apply with us, you are getting a response within 24 hours. That's called human respect. I mean, I remember waiting for someone to call me, hoping I can get a job, and I never get the call. Or you see, we'll reply to you. We cannot reply to everyone, but we will reply to you if we're interested. Some stupid line like that. It's like, dude, it takes nothing to go click. If they took the time to apply for you, take the time to reply to them, because that's your brand. And they may not be your person today, but they're connected. And you want a good brand with all the stakeholders, right? So we apply to everyone 100% of the time. Doesn't cost you. Hey, we're paying $3 an hour for human resources in the Philippines. Doesn't cost us any money, right? Reply, right? So we can pay someone full time to do nothing.
Can I ask you a question about your I guess your help that you have outside of the country? How many people do you have on staff? I mean, your cost is low, but how many full-time equivalents do you have running your back room?
I know I'm an open book, but I kind of don't get into those sales on our amount of people we got or how many people. We just, there's very high skilled people available in the Philippines at low prices.
No worries.
So now they apply. Okay. We reply to everyone. Now, but we tell them, here's what we want you to do. Read all this and reply back and say to us, I accept your offer.
Okay.
I've read this. Now, that's compliance purposes, right? Because we could run into trouble with contract law later on, and we want to make sure that they are, they've done all this. And they say, yes, I accept. Well, guess what? That 2,500 people, that just went down to 500. Because 2,000 people just never, they're not interested.
They never respond, right?
That was too hard for me. Good. Goodbye. Thanks for reaching out. But they still love our brand because we're responsive and treat them with respect, right? Human dignity. Next is like, okay, thanks. We're so glad to have you on board. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to add you to our team. So here's what you have to do. You have to go into our online platform. And as you know, I'm a big Trainual proponent, right? You have to go into Trainual, and we want you to do our Motivated Maids Academy. And we want you to learn everything you need to know about professional house cleaning and working as an independent contractor. We have courses on the legalities of independent contractor. We have courses on how to do your taxes successfully. Because, hey, if these contractors get in tax trouble at the end of the year, they're not going to be working with us anymore. So, yeah, we're not their daddies and mommies. We don't need to hold our hands, but we kind of do. Because if they get into tax trouble, they're not going to want to work with us because the tax person is on their back. Right? So here's the thing. We let them know you have about a week to complete this. Okay? And it's completely optional. Like, you don't have to do this. Right. But you got to be able to complete our task lists or work orders to our specifications, which you're not going to be able to do if you don't take this training. It's just a catch-22, obviously.
Right.
But you can decline us and say, I'm not interested. We're fine. We'll still offer you work. But if you go do work with us and you don't do it to spec, then we're not going to give you any more work. So obviously it makes sense to choose to do this. And there's lots of compliance to make sure they sign off for legality purposes. Okay, so that's done. Guess what? Once a week, we hop into Trainual and you'll find 100 people are 5% complete. And you see there's 100 people that are 25% complete. There's 35 people, they never even accepted the invite to join Trainual. So once a week, after 1 week, if they don't email us back and say, hey, I'm done my online training, what's next? We just go in and go mass delete. Boom, another 200 people gone. Okay, we got 100 left standing out of 5,000. All right, these people have jumped through a lot of hoops. So now you want to be a micro business owner, you want to be a contractor in the cleaning business, wonderful. Well, you're going to need to do some things because you got to make sure you have the right product and equipment to be able to successfully deliver. And we need to know that you can successfully complete these cleans, but we're not going to train you in person because, again, that don't work. That, in my opinion, don't work. It doesn't work. There's still turnover.
Is it legal there? Is it even legal there? Like, it's not legal here to train them.
I wouldn't be doing it, right? so of course it's legal, right?
Like we talked about that a little bit last time. The rules are a lot more lenient, somewhat more lenient in Canada.
Contract law. Oh my God, yes, very different.
But you said you don't do it, Mark. That's why I'm asking. Is it legal to do it if somebody wanted to? I know you don't, but if somebody wanted to, are they allowed to?
Say, hey, could you train me in? I mean, I guess any person could hire any person to come do the training with them, I suppose. I mean, they wanted to pay me, I'd be happy to make money.
I got you.
That's not my business, right? That's not what I'm in. So here's the thing. So what happens next is they go out and they perform cleans on their own. They do what's called practice cleans. And guess what the best place to start is? Your own house. The first bathroom I ever cleaned was my own ensuite. I don't know, do you use that term down there, ensuite, master bathroom? I don't know what you use.
What do we have now? Primary.
Okay. With the bathroom attached to your master bedroom, we call it an ensuite here. Okay. So I remember it took me, my ensuite is small, and it took me 3 hours. And my fiance, the love of my life, Nicole, she came in and critiqued it. And I spent 3 hours and she just tore it to bits. I was humiliated, right? But bit by bit, I learned how to clean houses properly, right? And then I became the best at it.
Humiliated. You were crushed.
Oh yeah, listen, man. I spent 3 months writing a business plan, and then I finally was ready to execute, which started with me cleaning my bathroom. And that was the plan, right? So the thing is, they start in their own house, and we give them tips. Time yourself. We help them learn how to, and then they clean at a friend's house and a neighbor's house. And when they're ready, they come to us and say, hey, I have all the products and all the equipment that I need to be successful in this industry. But we don't tell them you have to use a Navigator upright. We say, hey, there's some certain beater bar vacuums that are pretty good choices for you. And there's some, we give them a kaleidoscope of things that they can choose from, but ultimately they're contractors and use whatever they want.
Yeah.
If you don't clean the carpet or vacuum the floor the way it's supposed to be, they won't get any more work.
We're not hiring you again.
Yeah, they're going to choose the right choice, right? Because again, it's like training a cat. We want them to want to do the right choices. The cat doesn't care how we feel.
No.
They do that. So we got to trick the cat into thinking that they want this. Well, in this case, we don't have to trick them. We just have to show them the way, right? Versus a dog is like, I'll do it for you. I'll do it for you. I want you to be happy with me, right?
What do you want? What do you want? Yeah.
Liz, smile at me, Liz, right? Because they'll do anything for you. But the thing is that, so now they go out and they come to us and say, hey, I'm ready. I'm ready. Right?
Yeah, because they have done a lot of stuff now to get to this point. They're feeling kind of desperate for work at this point.
Well, not only that, they invested about $500 to $600 of their own money in products and equipment.
That's what I'm saying. They kind of are desperate at this point.
Okay, so they're not a criminal.
Okay.
They jump through hoops. The ambitious ones, they'll get through this in 5 days.
Yeah.
The regular person, 2 weeks, right? For me, human resources was click, 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 done. Like, I'm not spending any time on any of it. It's all canned responses, pre-written. They come in and say, hey, I got my startup to-do list done. We give them a little to-do list of things they need to do to start up. I got it done. See solution article, click. Hey, glad to know you got a startup to-do list done. But just to make sure, are these 7 things done? Reply back and let me know they're done. Right? Because we know what the hiccups are going to be later. So now they're ready to go. Okay, we onboard them into our platform. Okay? Guess what? Again, self-onboard. We don't do it.
You haven't never interviewed them. You've never really ever met them. Nothing. Yeah, I get it.
I don't know if they're a man or a woman or a dog or a cat. I don't know who they are.
Well, hopefully not dog or cat, right?
If they can clean, maybe. So here's the thing.
Wait, you said it had to be a human earlier.
It doesn't have to be. Aliens are perfect.
Okay.
I met someone last night because we have a new thing we're doing, and we talked to some of our top pros across Canada last night. We don't Google Meets, right?
Yeah.
And I met Melissa. And she's like, Mark, it's
Melissa Maker?
No, Melissa, who I've never seen in 6 months, who's been working with our company.
Yeah.
I don't know, I've never met her.
Never heard of her.
We met each other. It's like, hey, Melissa, you're Mark. Yeah, you're Melissa. You got great clean quality scores. Like, you have great reviews. Like, you're awesome. Thank you for everything you do for this company and for yourself. And we love you. He's like, yeah, it's so weird. I work with you and I've never been to your office.
Yeah.
I'm like, isn't it a thing of beauty? Isn't it a thing of beauty? So,
I do love that.
So here's the thing. The aptitude is shown. Now, then when they get out in the field, inevitably, there's going to be different people who run into different issues.
Of course.
And then what happens is we coach them through it. So let's say, for example, we have a situation where someone goes out and they have a bad day. They get a negative review. Okay, well, there's a systematic process to efficiently and cost-effectively deal with negative reviews. Right? So the customer sends in a complaint. There's a canned response. Here's our guarantee. Here's how you enact it.
Yeah.
All right. We reach out to the provider. The provider has a certain amount of time to get back with their side of the story. Boom. Okay. We deal with it. We decide how this is going to go down based on a set of rules and criteria. And we deal with it on the customer end. And then what we do is we book a Google Meet. And one of the support agents sits down in front of Chana Fernando from Saskatchewan, Ontario, and says, hey, Chana, how are you? Great. Good to see you. So you had a tough day yesterday. Yeah. So let's talk about it. What happened? And we're like, see, now you're a success coach for other cleaning business owners. Right? You help them be successfully, but you're not like their boss.
Yeah. I think this is what Greg Shepard does, isn't it, Tom? I'm pretty sure this is exactly how he manages his, like, if they're having like quality issues or something out in the field. He has his VAs from where's his favorite place? Pakistan?
South American country.
Is that cool guy from over? He's married to the lady from Japan.
No, you're thinking of Chris Schwab. I'm sure he does something
the problem is he's not married to the lady in Japan.
No, he's working on it.
Yeah.
He's amazing. I love that guy.
Yeah, he's great. You don't know who Greg Shepard is? Mark, you have to get hooked up with Greg. You will love Greg too. He has 2 companies in the same market, and they are number 1 and number 2.
Good. So let's tie this back into what we're talking about. Okay, so this whole process, they already have an aptitude for the cleaning profession, first of all, because they have a certain amount of character.
Based on what you've seen. Yeah.
They moved themselves out. Now, from a financial perspective, for margins,
they had to have money.
That cost me very little money. It cost me a lot of money to develop it over 5 years.
Yeah. Right? But they had to come up with all the money too. So they're at least somewhat financially stable to be able to come up with a couple $100.
Sure. They onboard themselves. They choose their own hours. I mean, 100%. There's people that we have in our network that choose to work from 9 p.m. to 9 a.m.
Right.
We have no It goes into the system, and then they choose their area. So you guys use zip codes, use postal codes. They go in and go, I wanted my service area is here, 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 here.
Okay, I have a question.
Go ahead.
So here's where my brain keeps going, where I keep getting stuck, is the majority of people that I talk to, that what they say their biggest sticking point is not getting the right people. It's not any of that. It's that they don't have enough people come into their pipeline. Like they only have 12 people apply. So how are you getting 5,000 people to apply?
Well, first of all, you'll never make less than $19.40 an hour, and that's if you suck. You're probably going to end up on average at $24 an hour before tips and product add-on fees.
So around that money, it's the price.
There's more to it than money. Money is.
But I mean, that's the initial thing. That wage is so initially attractive.
No, it's part of it. It's dynamic. I mean, obviously, you have to make a living wage to feed your family, right? And it's that simple. And there's other options in the marketplace that are way easier than cleaning and don't require the level of responsibility of cleaning that you can make the same money at. So if people are going to be cleaning, then we had to be worth the while. Consumers certainly willing to pay it. We just got to figure out how to give more to the people who do the work on the front lines. So then we say to ourselves, okay, well, what else matters to people? Well, how about flexible scheduling? So I can drop little Mary off to school or go with Johnny's teacher on Wednesdays. How about don't force me to go downtown St. John. Downtown St. John's, like we're a 500-year-old city that used to be cow paths. Our streets are this narrow. Like it's scary for people. Like you drive in our downtown core and you're like, I'm going to get smashed.
Yeah, I don't like to drive there. Yeah. I like that kind of road.
You've never been there, but the way it sounds, you don't want to do it.
Yeah, those kind of roads, I don't like to drive in those skinny roads. Even
so
Seattle is like.
I try to force you when I need you more than you need me. Why would I force you to go down and drive those skinny roads to clean houses?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you send people who don't mind driving there.
Yeah. So give people the opportunity to create something that works for them. It's that simple. And for us, that's just our model. Now, I'm not saying it's the only model. My goodness, there's boutique firms. There's, as you know, there's all kinds of models. But for us,
of course,
it's really about our providers are our customers. Our providers are our customers. It's that simple. Like we don't, pretend to success coach them like you success coach other cleaning business owners. We do success coach them because their success literally is our success. And I think that no matter if you are running a boutique style or one of the many business models, I think if you're doing like Castle Keepers, growth through acquisition and different things that Castle Keepers does awesomely, or American Made, I still think that culturally and psychologically, that if we don't transition to understanding that the success of our providers, whatever that might look like, is our success, then we're ultimately going to get left behind. Because the gig economy.
I do think that makes good sense, Mark.
It's kind of the Kim Blanchard model of the organization chart, where it's the upside down pyramid and CEOs at the bottom supporting everybody.
Look at micro franchising in Africa. So look at Brigham Young University. Micro franchise. Tom, you'll search it up. Micro franchising, Africa, Brigham Young University.
Okay.
And look at the micro franchising movement in Africa and Jamaica and how they've taken people out of poverty on the bottom of that pyramid and helped them have dignity, self-respect. But they've gotten capital from the investment community because they're getting a profit. They have for-profit investors, but it's centered around taking the gig economy and using franchise type principles and applying it to it because the thing for us is that we know that our providers are business owners.
Mark, you know what time it is?
Top of the hour.
Yeah,
Top of the hour.
Top of the hour. I am sorry.
But let's have a structure next time because we got to decide what we want to talk about because we're on all over the place. But it's fun. But
I dropped your website in the chat. And if you want to learn more about Mark's business, it's motivatedmaids.com. Some good information there that you can poke around and learn some things. Cleaningbusinesstoday.com. If you haven't subscribed, it's really easy. Your email, first name, last name, do that. You get our newsletter. You find out about Deal Day. New articles come out. We do a newsletter every Thursday in our page of resources for smart Business Moves is here.
Make sure that you register for the ISSA show, guys. It's $99 right now. It's dirt cheap.
Is it really 99 again? What happened?
Oh man, here's what we're doing. I'm taking a week off work, just like I was in Chicago or Vegas, but I'm taking it off here in Newfoundland.
Me
Like
too.
I'm literally
Me
doing
too.
it same way. Same
Me
way.
too, Mark.
Isn't it 199? Not to say that that's not a deal either. It is.
I think it's 169, unless it went down again. It was only 99 last Thursday and Friday for deal day.
Okay. Tom, listen, I know that I'm doing that course tomorrow, that PhD course through the ARCSI Learning Center.
Yes.
And I don't know the inner details, but I know that you've been involved in laying the pathway for people for many years, right? And other people in the industry heavily involved with this. And I want to say thank you to you and anyone else having to do with this. This is awesome. This is the best spend you're ever going to have, is taking this course, in my opinion.
Well, that's awesome. Liz was
you're
part of it. We had a team. And
you're gonna love. Do you know who Joe Walsh is, Mark?
No, don't know who that person
well,
is.
Get ready to have a new man crush.
Oh, really?
You're gonna love. Oh yeah,
I had to break up with Royce.
Yeah, you're gonna have another one. You're gonna have a new one there, Mark.
A man crush? Is that like a bromance?
It is a bromance. Look, I want to leave a parting thought that's 10 seconds long, guys. And here's my parting thought. Look, I know I'm crazy, passionate entrepreneur on the highest end. I'm an outlier, 1% personality type. I get all that. But the general passion is about, this business is about people. Those people that clean the houses every single day are the people that we depend on to earn our living. And we need them more than they need us. And we have to create a real win, not a pretend win, a real win situation for them and for the customer and for us too. And we have to, we're not saying change our business models, but we have to make some changes so that they can have a more successful life. That's my personal opinion.
There you go, you guys. That's telling it like it is right there.
Yeah. So tomorrow afternoon, 5 o'clock Eastern, Don Finn, we're going to be talking HR stuff.
Mark.
I promise it. You're going to have some takeaways. You'll be glad you did that. We'll see you tomorrow at 5. Take care.
All right. Bye, y'all.
Take care.